Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to some Drive on Moscow. It's good to see you guys. Let me lower that mic volume just a little bit there. And we're going to get started pretty soon, guys, here with some more Drive on Moscow. Now, the last time we played, we actually got very close to doing well. But after playing as the Russians and seeing sort of how the Germans moved, I think we're going to change our strategy a little bit here. And hopefully by changing our strategy, we can actually get that first victory in the first battle. So we're actually going to go ahead and get started in a couple of minutes here. I want to give some people a chance to get here, but I don't mind starting a couple of minutes early for you special newcomers, let's say. Give me a second here, my friends. We'll give it till about 3:57, I think. That's fair. Alright, guys. So let's jump right in here. We're going to go ahead and hit the play button. And of course, we're facing a computer opponent, although the game also has hot seat if you have a friend over the house, or of course the basic PBM multiplayer that's offered for just about any Slytherin game, and certainly for any game produced by Shenandoah Studios. So this is definitely, you have a lot of options here. Obviously, we're going to go for the computer opponent, and we are going to play as the Axis. Last time we faced Konyev and lost. I'm thinking we could face Zhukov, but he's actually technically a little bit better. So I think we're going to jump into Operation Typhoon with Konyev and just do things a little differently than we did last time. I have some new ideas, especially since playing as the Russians. We got to see how the Germans did their moves. Wonderful soundtrack. Sometimes you can just sit there and listen to it the entire time. Basically what the AI did, first of all, we have to choose a Soviet unit to interdict. It's going to be this one right here, because I don't want him supporting the guy over here. And then we're going to go ahead and basically select one of our tank units here. We have to confirm the interdiction. Let's commit. I'm going to move this guy here and try to crush that army completely. And then start moving north to Kursk and west to Orel. And I'm thinking we can do this pretty quickly if things work out our way. Okay, they retreated. Not perfect, but certainly better than I was expecting. Let me know, guys, if you can hear the mic okay, or if you want me to turn it up. Take a look here. Hey, awesome Lionosaurus, Dogs of War, of course, V Redster, and SM Cynthia. I think you're new. Welcome aboard, man. TK Leech, of course, Byron and Lanzer, and Bostova. I like Bostova. I like that name. Very cool. Bostova. Reminds me of like a Russian warlord, something like this. Alright, so I think we could go ahead and we could hit this area too. Again, putting a lot of pressure on this side. The problem is, you see, we have a problem here. We can only send one unit across at a time. I don't like that. So, let's go ahead and maybe instead try and get some of our infantry in the woods here and see how we do in Bochep. And it looks like we just used like 150 crates of ammunition, but we only did 1 damage, and that's because of the defense here they have in the woods, of course. The first person in the forest does get that defensive bonus, and it can be a real pain for the attacking force, as you can imagine. Okay, I think we can go ahead and attack here for sure in Zhukova. Let's do it. Unbelievably well done. I was hoping we would get 2 kills, but 1 kill is perfect. And of course, we want to keep moving towards Kursk and Orel. I think that's really what we wanted to do. When we first tried this battle, we focused so much on Rzhev. We wasted so many turns trying to take it. I just don't think it's worth it right away. So we'll see what happens. Bryansk also looks like a very easy area to take here. As you can see, the Soviets are sending reinforcements to important places like Rzhev, and it makes sense. So, once again, moving those tanks. Here we go, guys. Attack! And again, I'm not cheating, but I am following exactly what the actual AI did. So we can actually move all of our tanks into Kursk right now. Look at this. Might not go well, but it could be an easy win. So we'll commit to that. And of course, we'll move the rest of these tanks up once we get the opportunity. Some reinforcements in Moscow, and eventually they'll be getting reinforcements all along the northern front there. Very sneaky. Okay, I think I'm gonna move these guys up. Okay, the enemy has passed their turn, which means they have no idea what to do. That's very, very good. Again, I think we'll probably want to attack Bryansk, although we also have movable tanks here. The thing is, we might only be able to send one over at a time. So let me actually send the strongest of them over, which is this one right here. And this is really a luck-based thing here. They have a lot of defenses in the form of buildings, so we might have to wait a few turns before we can send in another unit to actually take them out. I think they'll pass here as well. Yup, sure enough. Gives me a little bit of confidence here. Oh yeah. We actually got very lucky that we managed to force a retreat with only 2 hits. So hopefully we can get these guys into Bryansk next turn. Once again, they are passing. I'm starting to wonder, what should we do? Again, if we move into this area, the problem is we can only move 1 unit at a time, and that's just not enough to really make much of a difference. So I guess we need to go ahead and engage here with our tanks in Vladiminskoye. I like that name a lot. Attack. Actually, they're putting up a good fight. 2 hits on 3 Panzer Brigades. Yeah, that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3. They could technically cut us off, but I'm pretty sure that these half-tracks, probably SDKFCs, will help us out. Yeah, we get the message. We're still gonna beat you guys. Nice music, though. Let's take a look here. We've got some people still playing roulette there. Very nice. I like that. All right, so we need to choose a unit to interdict, basically force them not to be able to move. And I think it's going to be this one right here, because I don't want them being able to support the units at Kursk. And that's basically it. We also get to add 1 to our armor, and of course I'm going to give it to the armored division at Kursk as well. So they will be ready for this oncoming battle. And hopefully we take the city this turn. Close, but no Kursk. Let's put it that way. They're still holding on, just barely. And I think we can start moving some units into Bryansk. Probably would not be a bad idea. So let's do that. Let's take a stronger infantry unit. Stronger being the key word. We might even be able to move another one in there, because I think this area is pretty open. Nice. So we'll go into Bryansk, and we'll commit to the attack. It's urban warfare here, so I'm a little worried, but come on, guys. Oh, not a dent in the enemy armor. Alright, some Red Guard reinforcements. This is sure to boost enemy morale and make our job a lot more difficult. And sure enough, they moved into this area. I was worried about that, but it happens to the best of us. can still respond to it, but for now, I'm going to keep on attacking in Bryansk. I just know we can eventually break through here, so let's commit. Man, heavy defenses in Bryansk. Are you guys seeing this? Unbelievable. Kursk will be our next attack. And they're actually sending some Red Guard tank divisions from the capital. So you guys know how to fight. They're quite good in battle. Come on, boys. Yes, absolutely beautiful. Victory in Kursk. This is huge. So now we could do a few different things. We could go west to Orel. We could go north to Voronezh. I think I'm actually going to go west to Orel. I'm going to keep one unit in Kursk. Basically make sure that we hold it. And I think this could help us tremendously. Especially if we can get behind Bryansk. It's going to be a lot easier to take. Yeah, they have no choice. They're going to have to move back. Look at that. That is awesome. I forget who said this, and I'm paraphrasing here. I think it's Sun Tzu, but it's something like, you have to make the enemy fight on your terms, not the other way around. So even though the enemy's moving here, trying to force us to move and attack this area because we're going to be cut off, we're actually doing a lot better focusing on this part of the battlefield. So I think we need to keep on doing that. Really show them that we are the ones showing the aggression. I'm going to go ahead and move the tanks here. 1, 2... Another red unit destroyed. And I think I'm going to go ahead and help cut him off as well. Nice. Look at that. So now the enemy knows what it feels like to be cut off. Alright, so they're going to defend Kaluga. Obviously, this is an area with quite a few victory points south of Moscow. So I understand why they're defending this area. There's so many VPs here, and the enemy does not want to lose those VPs. We do have to respond to this situation as much as I hate to, and I think the best way to do that is to target these guys first, get rid of them, and then we need to move our tanks back. They're actually putting up an amazing fight. I don't know if it's Molotovs they're using, but something they're using is actually doing a lot of damage to our tanks. So we have a choice here, guys. We could go south and attack the enemies that are entrenched here, cutting off our infantry and our SDKFZs, or we could try to go west and attack Rzhev right now. What do you guys think? I'm leaving this decision up to you. I'm actually not sure myself. So let's see. Do we go ahead and attack Rzhev, or do we go south? I think the first... If we get 2 people to say one or the other first, that's what we'll do. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't think this is enough to actually have to bring up a poll, a straw poll. So Lanzer's saying Rzhev. Byron is saying go east. I didn't even consider that. Let's take a look at going east. Ah, because of the victory points. Now you've put something new into this equation, Byron. Okay, very well. East is also an option. Southeast. Oh my god, no, Bostova's saying southeast. We have like 4 different options now. All right. So, again, first 1 to 2. Fair enough. Come on, we got 1 east, 1 southeast, 1 Rzhev. We need 1 more. You guys are coming up with completely new strategies, and that's what I love about this game. Each person is going to approach it differently and play it differently, and it really allows people to express themselves in a military sense. You know, it's totally up to you how you approach it. In this case, we need your help, officers. One more. 32 viewers. I know we have some lurkers here. Somebody says south, I'm going to go crazy. Then we'll have 4 votes. 4 different votes. Porthos says east. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to trust you guys, but I see what you're saying. I mean, this area is a victory point area, and I guess I see what you mean in the sense that this is what the enemy would not expect us to do. So we're going to commit to that. You guys are insane. Then again, we are cutting off the rest of the enemy. I see what you guys are doing. I am very clever. Yeah, very clever. Okay. So now they're in kind of panic mode. They're still moving more guys here to cut us off as well. We've kind of cut each other off in an odd way. And at this point, I think we can also maybe even move these fellows forward. Probably not a bad idea to start getting these guys up there. of them is, I think, a light tank unit, if I'm not mistaken. Very clever people, I think. I hate those reinforcements, but luckily right now they're over there near Moscow. I don't have to deal with them. Huh. What to do? Yeah, I think this is a battle we've had to have for quite a while, so let's go ahead and get it over with. I knew it was going to be a nasty one, but I was hoping we would at least rout one of the enemy units. The next attack will definitely be them routing, that's for sure. Enemy is passing. Do not pass go and do not collect $200. You guys are in very serious trouble. I think we should keep up doing what you guys suggested. We go east, and now we have a lot of armor with us. Oh, this is interesting. This is very different from how we played the last time we did this, so this should be fascinating. Just trying to close the gap and possibly attack Rzhev, especially if they do something like that and leave one of the tiles open. At the chat. They're making you work for it. Yeah, absolutely. Or drop East. Everybody goes for East. East was a perfect choice. Now we must continue. And Orel looks like the obvious next choice. We need to choose a Soviet unit to interdict. That's going to be this one right there. Commit. And we can add one to our infantry corps. Interesting. Why not here the one at Bryansk? So first thing we can do is go ahead and take Bryansk. As long as our men fight for it, we really need them to commit to this. No pun intended. Yes! Bryansk is ours! That is huge, okay? At this point, I think we can go ahead and send some units to engage the enemy. Unfortunately, we can only send one unit at a time. And sending out an artillery unit, or excuse me, an armor unit is probably not the best idea. Then again, I like this idea. So let's commit to that. Again, cutting them off. A lot more reinforcements for the enemy. And these are all Red Guard units. Alright, they're going to the tank. I expected that. Yeah, they definitely want to get rid of that tank, and they very well may be able to. Tank retreats. At the very least, the 2nd Panzers put up a very good fight. But as you guys can probably imagine, for this battle, they are probably going to be out of action. So, let's head to Orel. In fact, we could go ahead and head right to their unit here. I believe we still take Orel. Maybe not. Let's go ahead and just take Orel. Let's be safe about this. 9! That's not what I wanted to do. Very well, we're going to have to commit to that. That was my mistake. But once again, more victory points for us. Okay, guys, it's time to move forward with this tank army, I believe. Now, the tank army, despite it being very strong before, it's not as strong as it used to be. And as you can see, we're fighting Red Guards units. These guys are the cream of the crop of the Russian army. So we will commit. But this is completely lucky. Wow. Okay, they've taken back our victory point. I can't accept that. I'm going to commit with my tank. 9! That's not good at all. I thought for sure the tank would crush them, but no way. They are holding Vyazma, I believe, very well. What next? So Voronezh is well defended. There's no way we're going to take that. Tula, on the other hand. There's a possibility. Of course, we're going to have to go here first and leave Kursk open, and I'm not sure I want to do that necessarily. Let's see how these guys do. Let's see how they handle this situation. So I believe we've got 2 SDKFZs and 1 Panzer division. Okay, somebody's getting court-martialed. That's unacceptable. I mean, we should have at least gotten 3 or 4 hits, but no, we didn't. Unbelievable. Very poorly fought. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's finish off this battle. Okay, nice. We got to retreat, but the Soviets are definitely fighting consistently. They're not making this easy on us at all. SDKFCs against a cavalry division? Come on, game. Be nice. Nice. Wonderful. And again, taking Rzhev would be really the nail in the coffin. Although we still have a lot to take. This is just a much better start than what we had last time. Last time, I think we only took this area here. I think right at the end took Rzhev, but it just wasn't worth it. So we're going to have to rely on these infantry units. Again, this is very much a shot in the dark. It could go well, it could go terribly. We're just going to go ahead and hope for the best. Basically, nothing happened. Alright, the Soviets are passing, and that's quite early in the turn for them to pass. Which leads me to believe that we might have some decent possibilities here. One of those would be going towards Voronezh, then going west to Tula. But I don't know if I want to risk that. So that way, I think you guys can see what I'm trying to do is basically just make sure they never take those areas and that we have no gaps in our supplies at all. Look at that, Dogs of War roulette all. Ah, you've got a roulette, at least 50 slits. Hang out a few more minutes and you should have those 50 slits. Okay, let's go for this battle here in Yelnya. And wow, the Soviets are fighting extremely well. Look at that, guys. We took 5 hits. They took 2. That's just unacceptable. Once again, it's our turn. I could technically go to Kaluga and try to take it. It would be pretty hilarious if I managed to actually win in Kaluga. But as you can see, it's looking like we're not going to do any damage to the enemy. What else could I do? Well, you know what? It's about time we did this. Have 1 unit at Bryansk holding it, and then we'll keep on moving forward. Not today, Soviets. Today is our day. So we're here at Rzhev, guys. I'm thinking sending 1 unit through would be quite proper. Let's go ahead and see. I'm not seeing the interdiction button at all, but I'll drop it over here at Vyazma. Let's commit. And we've got a replacement to armor. Now, this could be extremely important, especially since we still are trying to break through over here. So I'm going to go ahead and give a bonus to this unit. We should be able to get a bonus. Maybe since they're out of supply, we can't do that. Let's see. Who would we give a bonus to? I guess it's going to have to be either the unit in Bryansk or one of these frontline units. Let's go ahead and give the one to the unit in Bryansk. The game seems to be pretty happy with that. And as you can see, since these guys are out of supply, we cannot attack the way we expected to. Now, if we could get into Kaluga with all 3 units, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, as you can see, we can only get through with 1 unit. That really makes things problematic for us, let's say. So let's see, what can we do here? We basically need to open up a supply route here or take a major risk. Let's go for it. The odds are completely against us, but you never know. And at least we get 1 unit there. And again, they are really stacking up on Voronezh. They do not want to lose Voronezh, and I can understand why. Definitely going to go for the attack right here with these units. And again, all SDKFCs, chances are the enemy's going to retreat. So luck is on our side. Nice, 3 hits. Not the best case scenario, but we absolutely took away a lot of their pips. As you can see, now one has 1, the other one has 2. They're basically totally out of action. They can, of course, still use them as cannon fodder or to cut off, supply lines like they're doing here. But overall, we've definitely sapped a lot of their strength. Now, over here, I'm absolutely going to attack. Should be a total kill. Wow. I don't know if our units have turned into pacifists suddenly. They're just not going for the full attack. It's really frustrating. Okay, this is their airborne unit. So I wonder if I could get to Tula this turn. I couldn't get to Tula, but I could attack the airborne unit in the woods here. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's a specialized unit, and we've gotten into retreat. Alright guys, we're going for Rajev. I don't expect this to go well, but we have no choice. This is a mini version of Stalingrad here. We didn't even damage the buildings. Unbelievable. Actually, they're going to return and attack Rajev. This time we actually managed to do a little bit more damage. So it's very much back and forth, but as you can see, our strength pips are way down. You've got to absolutely love that soundtrack. It's just nothing like it. I adore it. Alright, so we're going for interdiction here. Once again, we want to try and stop a unit that could potentially affect us in a very negative way. Since we have this unit so close to Orel, I'm afraid that they could try to go to Orel and just snag it easily. So I'm going to go ahead and interdict that unit, and hopefully with this tank, we can actually move to Tula. We also can give a replacement to one of our infantry units, and I think, yeah, we're going to have to give a replacement over here to try and take the city. So there we go. Commit to that, and let's see what we can do. So let's try and take out this airborne elite unit that the enemy has. Beautiful. It's down, and we're moving into Tula, guys. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. So another Soviet city under our control. In this case, I think it's probably a Soviet town. Nonetheless, it still has significant importance. And as you can see, the closer we get to Moscow, the tougher things get. They're sending in more and more reinforcements. They're doing a great job at cutting us off over here. We've got to do something about that. I think the best thing we can do right now is probably destroy this unit here or this unit here, these units here, so that we have an actual direct link through Vyazma to the rest of our guys up here. Kaluga, come on. We'll send another tank to Kaluga. Ausrotten. They're doing fairly well, I must say, though. Alright, these guys north of Bryansk, they've got to go. Not bad, one destruction. The unfortunate part is we can't move straight to Orel there. Yeah, that SDKFC is definitely a struggle. If we can take away a few strength pips from the 33rd Army, I think that's great. Yeah, this is a tough call. I think we're going to go ahead and attempt an attack here. There is a chance we could get them to retreat. Huge. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, obviously the losses were pretty even, but knocking down their strength pips that much is going to probably help in the future. And as you can see, they're not really passing on their turns anymore. I think that phase is over for them. They are completely invested in the battle. Roulette 200. Nice. You guys are doing well in roulette. My goodness. Well done, guys. This is the one day I'm actually seeing consistent roulette winners. All right, let's see. So essentially, I'm just doing this to open up this area to the rest of our forces. Again, we don't want any gaps in the lines, and now the Soviets are passing. So again, my goal here is just to eliminate any gaps in the lines whatsoever. I even want to attack this area. It just doesn't look safe. So actually, I'm going to move my guys here. I'm going to be a little bit sneaky and try to move in here and open up the supply lines to my friends. Oh, so we could go for an attack in Rzhev. I don't think it's going to go well, though. I was worried they were going to try this. Wow, our men actually fought back valiantly. They still retreated, but they did fight back valiantly. And there we go. That is going to be a failure. The offensive fails. Expect bitter fight. VP 9. And we got a grade of a C. Once again, George Bush grades. Not the greatest, but I think we did better than last time, without a doubt. We took so many of those eastern provinces, which of course really affected the enemy. I think the key to losing there was since the enemy was able to cut off our supply lines, we couldn't attack those very important cities south of Moscow. Still, I love it. I learn from this game every time. Look at that. Just awesome. All right, guys, let's head back to the main menu. Take a look here at the chat. Yeah, I'll allow that. Are the devs for Sanctus Reach on vacation? Their forums have been pretty quiet as of late. I honestly don't know, my friend. I don't usually go on the forums. I should probably go on them more often. It would probably be something you'd want to message press about, ask if everything's okay, but I'm sure they're fine. Currently, there's a big, and I think you guys see that when you look at the Slytherin group page here on the stream, that basically everybody's at Castello di Pavone at a very large strategy gamer conference, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were getting ready for that. It's a pretty big deal, so I think they're probably focusing on that first, but I have no direct comment. Dogs of War, how are you getting so many wins, man? Nicely done. All right, so let's take a look here. And again, what we like to sometimes do is just go for the toughest mission possible. So let's go computer opponent. And this is the Moscow campaign. Now, this is another amazing thing about the game. If you want to play the entire campaign and not just a tiny operation like Operation Typhoon, and actually Operation Typhoon was not a tiny operation, you could play the Moscow campaign. So I'm going to actually play against Zhukov. and he's much better than Konyev. And we can't seem to beat Konyev. So if we can't beat Konyev, we certainly can't beat Zhukov. Of course, I'm going for that same tactic of going for Kursk. So we need to select a unit to interdict. It's going to be that one, of course. Here we go. So I think this initial start is what you're supposed to do, basically. Destroy that Russian unit. In this case, we destroyed it. Remember, last time he just retreated. And we just basically keep on moving. Maybe what we should do is we should send one of these tanks over here. Because he can start cutting off a lot of Soviet units. I think you guys can see that. If those rails don't get to the units, they're not getting any supplies. What will you do, Ivan? Nothing. That is what I thought. Alright, let's see what else we want to do here. I'm amazed we didn't destroy them there, but obviously their pips are non-existent. But I was definitely thinking that that was going to be a total destruction. Let's grab the tank. I know tanks don't do well in forest setting, but I want to get into Plochep so that we can move towards Bryansk here and take it really early. Wow, that was uneventful. It was a bit of a letdown. I was really hoping for a prolonged fight that just didn't happen, unfortunately. Okay, so let's try something a little bit different here. I'm going to cut off all of these areas. So again, we're not even getting into a fight. We're simply cutting off all of the rail lines leading to Bryansk and the rest of these areas. I think their airborne units can respond to this pretty well, and actually it seems like what they're doing is going to Kursk. So maybe this turn we'll attack Kursk with these 2 tank armies. I hope this is enough to potentially damage the enemy, but I think it's really a toss-up. Yep, pretty even damage, and if I'm not mistaken, we are going to need reinforcements to ultimately take that city. Wow, look at that. So they don't want us to cut them off, and they absolutely made the right move. Actually, I'll keep this guy here. I don't want to send everybody in at once, because then, of course, we just risk them cutting us off as soon as we move, even if the attack goes well. You can absolutely see that Zhukov's men are much more willing to fight to the end. What to do, what to do. I think I will move in these guys. See, Plochep is just an awful place to fight. The Russians are so well dug into the forests that it's almost impossible to damage them. And it just becomes a non-stop fight, even though we completely outnumber them pips-wise. We have armor, we've got, elite infantry units. It doesn't make a difference. They don't care. And what we need to do is get some more units to Kursk. That's going to take a while. So for now, I'm just going to move these guys out. And in fact, I'm going to move this guy here because I actually want to move this tank unit over here to make it an even stronger group. Oh yes, somebody's getting an Iron Cross. I was just about to rage quit there. Once I saw that they were about to cut us off yet again, I was getting really really heated. So let's go ahead. I think we can, well, first of all, to interdict, let's interdict that unit so he doesn't head back to Bryansk. And we can actually give one to our armor. We're absolutely going to give it to this one right here. And I want to see if we can get some reinforcements here to help this guy wipe out that group of infantry, the 33rd Army. Get a little bit of revenge here in Zukovka. All right, they retreated, not bad. I expected a little bit more than that, but I'll take a retreat. And we could go for the attack on Kursk, but again, I think we're going to need some reinforcements for that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take a look here at the chat. I love Nintendo's Advance Wars. This reminds me of it somehow. Oh, that was such a great game. I think, aren't you talking about, I can't believe I can't remember the name. It wasn't the Game Boy. It was the Game Boy Advance, wasn't it? Oh, I remember that game, man. I used to play that for days almost when I was much younger. That was really fun. All right, let me see. I want to actually bring this tank over to attack Kursk and hopefully break through. I mean, honestly, in an urban battle like that, 1 damage means quite a lot, so I'm okay with that. Reinforcements from Moscow. So, as you can basically see in this game, the difficulty settings really aren't, it's not just basic difficulty settings like easy, medium, hard. It's the general you're facing. You could be facing a general that's a bit more of an amateur, who's not going to perform as well. You could be facing a general that's a legend. Like right now, we can see we're not able to expand nearly as quickly as when we were facing the earlier general. Zhukov is just a much better general. He's much more strategic. He knows where to position his forces so that you can't break through easily, and it makes the game a lot more challenging. Come on, boys. Already 2 damage. Look at that. Vyatkovo is an awful place. It's a place where everybody meets their end. Okay, here we go. So once again, we must attack here. In Potchep. We can never break through the tree line here, but we're going to try again. Finally! How long was that? Thanks, guys. Okay, the Soviets are passing. And actually, we could be sneaky here and attack them right there. Or we could attack their infantry here and potentially cut off everybody. Let's go for it. Oh, yeah. Just sounded like the Kool-Aid guy there for a second. That was frightening. Here we go. No! No! Not SDKFC! Nice work. Beautiful defense there by our men. And I think now the tables have turned. We could actually probably move into Orel this turn. No pun intended. Let's see. We should have done this before. Alright, enemy is passing once again. Fair enough. This battle had to happen at some point, but I hate fighting it. Oh, nice! I was really worried that the Vladimir battle was going to take ages like it usually does, but actually it went beautifully. That being said, as you can see here, even after a tremendous victory like that, the pips on that unit to the left are still huge. The enemy here is still very, very strong. So even when you win in Vladimir, you don't really win. You win the battle, but clearly not the war. It's time to attack the Yelnya. Let's go for it. Oh, man. Very well done. Although they just happened to retreat into an area which would cut us off supply-wise. Why, oh why? Finally, ein deutscher Song. Lili Marleen, boys and girls.
Stand eine Laterne und steht sie noch davor, so wollen wir uns da wiedersehen.
Gotta love the soundtrack, the German radio in the game. Just so cool that they added those things. So I think it's pretty clear here. We first need to select, obviously, a Soviet unit to interdict. And I'm really not sure who to select. I'll go ahead and select their elite infantry, or their elite, tank unit. We can add one to an infantry unit. And I didn't know this, but apparently the armored units, the STKFZ armored units, not the tanks, are considered infantry units. So since this one's so close to Orel, I'm going to commit to him. So hopefully, if he wins this battle, he can just go right through Orel. So that was not very impressive. Okay, let's see. Time for the attack on Bryansk. And again, they have no supplies, so we should do okay. Even if we don't, we should be able to wear them out pretty quickly. These pips don't grow on trees, so they're just going to keep losing pips left and right. Alright, let's see what we do here. I was hoping we could sneak to Orel there. Doesn't look like we can, but we could attack west of Rzhev, east of Rzhev. Last time we did this, though, remember, the enemy cut us off here. So, it's definitely a little bit risky. I'm going for it, though. And actually, we're going to get a retreat anyway, so I'll keep one tank unit here. Sort of act as an anchored defense, as it were. Nice! Complete destruction, and look at that! We can go into Rzhev this turn. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Alright, guys, it's the Soviets' turn. Well, guys, as you know, this is the kind of game that is completely up to you. I loved, for instance, when earlier I asked you guys in the chat what you wanted me to do. You guys told me to attack east when I didn't even give it as an option, and it ended up being the best choice. So I highly recommend you guys pick this game up, play with some friends, do some multiplayer, because you guys absolutely sort of have the correct idea on how to approach the game, on what to do, the correct victory points to take, and your strategy may definitely, or surely could be, quite superior to mine. That being said, guys, thank you so much for the comments here. And like Porthos says, yeah, absolutely, tanks are not good for fights in the woods. Infantry should be sent first. Hello, Sleipnir and Yapon. Some new people here that I don't recognize. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you all have an awesome, awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one. My pleasure, Lancer. Take care, mates.